Hello and welcome. Today we have quite a few new things that we're going to be taking a look at. We have the new collection from What's Up Beauty. This is the Cheeque Terre collection, which features bronzers, blushes, and 2 new brushes. We also have both of the holiday duos from Louboutin, and these are limited edition. In addition, we have the new Dior Spring Lip Maximizers and Lip Glows. So let's go ahead and let's get started. We're going to start off with the eyeshadows. So this is the packaging. We have red plastic packaging with the little spikes on top, and this just lifts up. So I purchased mine from Selfridges, but they are also available at Nordstrom and a few other retailers. I'll leave those listed down below. You can see my white one did come broken, but if you're familiar with trying to do an exchange from Selfridges in the US, it's not something that always works out. So anyway, we have a dual-ended brush here that comes with it. Well, one end's a brush. It's going to be an angled brush. And then we have a foam tip applicator on the other side, a little plastic tray here. So let's take a look at our 2 duos. So you know what? I'm going to put these on my hand actually. So this, you can see it's like coming out. It is super soft and pillowy in texture. Let me just try to clean that off so we don't get any purple. And actually my purple one was fine a few minutes ago, but it's already, I don't know what happened. I haven't dropped it or anything. So whatever. This purple one, I don't love this purple one. The white shade here is going to be a nice sparkly shimmery shade, great for a topper. You can see there's actually, it's sparkly white, but you have a tiny bit of a pinkish hue to it as well. The purple shade, it swatches nicely. It comes up nicely with the hand, but you can see it's pretty light. My issue with this one is that some of the glittery chunks in there, they don't blend out as easily as the ones do in the other duo. So let's take a look at that one, which is my favorite. So that one was called Purple Aritza, and this one is called Star Nude. And you can see these shadows here are intact. And we're going to start off with a soft gold shade. You can see that this is more of a beige gold. It's not going to be too yellow or orange. It's a really beautiful champagne gold. And then we have a warm, rich brown. And I think this is a better duo. You can see just from swatching how smooth and creamy they are and how they blend out nicely onto my hand. So I think they're gorgeous. Let's take a look at these on the eyes. Each of these palettes is limited edition. They're the Abracadabra Le Duos. We have 4.6 grams of shadow in each, and they're made in Italy with a 2-year shelf life. They're described as having a creamy, sparkling texture with up to 10 hours of color and shine. And I have to say, the Star Nude palette, I really like that one. I think that one, it's creamy, it's easy to use, it blends out beautifully, you don't see any large chunks. The purple one, I don't love that one. I did think that the purple was going to be a bit more vibrant than it is. It definitely has that pink undertone, so if you don't like the pinky purple shades, this one's not for you. But my biggest issue is just the fact that although it feels very creamy, some of those pieces in there, they don't really seem to melt in as easily as the Star Nude Duo does. So there's something about the formula on that one that's just not as effective as the other one. Another thing I really like about the Star Nude Duo is both of those are shades that are opaque enough that you can wear on your own, you can wear them together, whereas with the Purple Aritza, they're both very sheer shades. So even the purple on its own is very sheer. You want to build that up if you want more opacity, but that white shade is really more of a topper. And I think it's a really pretty shade, but we've seen that so many other quads and eyeshadows and so forth. So it's not something unique. So for me, it doesn't win over the duo. Now, as you're looking at the eye swatches and the demo, you can see that you can get some fallout with these. It does, brush off very easily, but it is something to note because that does, kind of determine your application. And I would have to say though, I did get a bit more fallout with the purple one than I did with the Star Nude. And again, I think it's just something off with this particular formula. It might be something that's isolated to my duo or, a batch but this one's just not, it feels creamy to the touch, but it doesn't perform as though it's as creamy as the Star Nude Duo. So for me personally, colors and formula wise, I prefer the Star Nude. And I think it's a really beautiful duo. So if you're in the market for something like that, I do think that that one is a nice option. So one more time, just so you can see the shades, we have the Purple Aritza and Star Nude. And yeah, that's it for the eyeshadows. Let's move on to the What's Up Beauty collection. Now, What's Up Beauty, these obviously I use these during the demos, so they're dirty, but they did release 2 brushes. I think What's Up Beauty brushes, they are actually really, really good. If you haven't tried them, their brushes are handmade in Japan from uncut, undyed goat hair. They're very soft, so we're not even looking at like your regular Sokaho hair. I'm not sure if it's a mix of Sokaho and Psychaho. That's most likely what it is, but it feels more like Psychaho. It's pretty soft, and I think they're just really nice brushes. So plus, if you like pink, you got the pink handles here. So this one here is the R202, which is a new blush brush, and you can see this is going to have a slightly pinched oval ferrule, and we'll just put this here so you can see how it goes. So it's going to be airy, but not super airy. So we still have, you know, enough density here that you can place things exactly where you want them. In comparison, the R203 is going to be shorter, and the ferrule's a bit more pinched. It's a little bit wider, so we have more of a square shape. And so this is going to be a bit more dense overall. So our bristles, you can see, they're not going to be as airy. This is going to be great for bronzer or contour. So I used it as bronzer using the flat side, but if you wanted to use it for contour or something like that, using this side here, I think is, going this way. I think that's actually perfect size to get right into the contours of your face, and the density allows it not to splay out so much that you are, going where you don't want to go. So those are the brushes. And I think they're great. By the way, this whole collection was gifted to me. So just something to disclaim there. Then in addition, we have bronzers and blushes. So this is the packaging. You can see it's kind of like an iridescent purple for the bronzers, iridescent pink for the blushes. These are all made in Italy. So we have Click Closure, and let's take a look at these. So this is the bronzer in number 10 Light. And you can see that all of these have 4 shades swirled together for both the bronzers and the blushes. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a double layer there. So 2 layers adjacent to each other. It's still a single layer of product. And we'll just kind of buff it out a little bit right there. So you can see that the light one is going to be a very light, warm bronzer shade. So this is kind of like your soft, I would say it's beige with a little bit of a golden peach hue to it. So this is definitely going to be a warm tone, lighter bronzer. Here's 20 Medium, which is also going to be warm tone here. And this one has a little bit more yellow in it. It's a bit more golden hued. So you can see the difference between the two of those. Here is 30 Tan, and I love the marbled appearance of these, not only for the way it looks, but I love having just a little bit of a hue of something else in there to help with like color correction and so forth. So here's our Tan, which is going to be a deeper version of number 20 Medium. This is going to still have kind of that yellowish orangey hue to it. So it's going to be a warm tone shade as well. My favorite is number 40 Deep. And this is what I have on right now, just with a very light hand. So when we're looking at the demos, I put everything on softly first and then go in to build it up so you can see the maximum color. But you can see this is going to be our coolest tone shade. It is a nice cocoa brown. This would also be beautiful on the eyes as eyeshadows. So this one here is my favorite. All right, as for our blushes, again, we still have 4 shades marbled together. This is number 10, Peaceful Pizza. And this is a nice, soft pink shade. This is going to have a little bit of warmth to it, but it's more neutral and it's very, very light. So I think it's a really pretty, you know, barely there kind of blush shade. I really like it. It's one of those ones that for fair or light skin, it's like one of those ones that you don't have to think about and you don't have to worry about going overkill with it. So this is 20 Serene Sienna. And this one here is going to be a little bit warmer. This is more of a peach. And I think this is a really pretty shade as well. You can see it's slightly deeper than number 10. The blush I have on right now is this one, 30 Relax Roma. This one's probably my favorite. And you can see that this is a really pretty, like neutral, dusty rose shade. I think it's really beautiful. And again, you can see that our depth of color that you can build this up to gets deeper with each shade. This is 40 Gentle Genova. And this is going to be our deepest shade. You can see this one is going to be the warmest. And we've got a bit more orange in here. It is kind of like I would say like a rusty brown, not quite a clay shade. There's not enough red in there for that. It's more of a rusty coral. So I think overall, we've got some beautiful shades here. There's something for everyone. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's take a look at the cheek swatches. So as we're looking at the swatches, we're starting off with the bronzers here. So these are the Cheeque Terre bronzers. They retail for $35 US each. And with them, I'm using the bronzer brush R203, which retails for $58 US. However, if you're interested in purchasing both brushes, you can get both brushes for $99 US on their website. And as for the blushes and bronzers, they also have some duo offers to give you some savings as well. So both the bronzers and the blushes retail for $35 US. They're made in Italy. We have a 2-year shelf life and we have 9.5 grams of product. And all of these are pressed and then baked. We have 4 shades swirled together to really give you, you know, a little bit of nuance to that color and make it more blendable. The bronzers have a matte finish with a very subtle sheen. You're not really going to see much of that, but it makes it not a dry looking matte, almost a satin matte, but not quite enough satin in there to fully be described that way. We have medium coverage with the bronzers and the blushes. It's a very finely milled powder texture. The formulas for both the bronzers and the blushes are described as being clean, non-toxic vegan formulas. They are talc-free. They contain 99% natural ingredients, including niacinamide and hyaluronic acid for hydrating and reducing redness, evening your skin tone, improving texture, and plumping the skin. Now, as we're looking at the blushes, these have a soft focus finish. The formula really melts into the skin. They're easy to blend out, and the blush has a very fine or ultra fine shimmer in there. So you don't really notice any of that unless you're buffing that into the cheek, but then you can see a little bit of a glow, a little bit of radiance with the blushes, but there are no actual chunky or discernible pieces of glitter in the blushes. According to What's Up Beauty, the collection draws inspiration from the breathtaking coastal cities of Italy. Each powder showcases a unique marbled effect crafted from a blend of 4 colors that capture the hues of the homes nestled in the coastal mountains of Cheeque Terre and Amalfi. Overall, I think it's a beautiful collection and I think it's definitely worth checking out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches one more time. All right, so here are the bronzers. We have 10, 20, 30, and 40. And then our blushes in 10, 20, 30, and 40. You can see how easily they are applied and blend out. And again, our 2 brushes, our blush brush is going to be a little bit more airy and light. Our bronzer brush is going to be a bit more dense, and the bristles really stay in place well to allow for more precision. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dior Spring lip products. Let's start off with the Dior lip maximizers. So we have new shades for the lip maximizers. And if you go in and you read the description, it does mention that the formula has been reworked. I believe they're still referring to the most recent reformulation, which happened about a year ago. So I don't think it has changed since then. If it has, I haven't noticed any difference in the formula at this point. So our first shade that we're going to take a look at here is number 82, Glow Mania. And you can see this is going to be a shimmery, sparkly white. I have some sort of boo-boo there, but we're gonna skip over that. You can see it's a sparkly white, and I was curious how this compared to one of the previous shades that they've launched. So that is Glow Mania. Our next shade here is 204 Nude Mania, and you can see Mania is kind of our theme here. So this one here does not have any sparkle. It's the only one I picked up without any sparkle here. You can see this is going to be a warm peachy nude shade. It's a really great everyday shade. And I do have a couple to compare that with as well. I like the lip maximizers. If you're not familiar with them, they do have a minty feeling to them, and they offer a little bit of lip plumping. Next, we have 84 Blue Mania. This is so pretty. Now, we did recently have another blue one of these that came out, but this is a different blue. So I will compare those. But you can see it's going to be sheer, but we have a little bit more of a bluish purple with a little bit of pink hue to that. This one's 53 Pinkmania. And I actually have this on my lips right now on top of one of the new lip glows. And you can see this is going to be a soft, warm pink. Again, it's pretty much translucent. These are best used, in my opinion, as a topper. And I personally really like them for that use. This one here is Peach Mania, which is number 206. This is actually one of my favorites. And this one I like on its own as well. The Glow Mania, Pink Mania, and Blue Mania I like as toppers. Peach Mania I can use as a topper or on its own. The Nude Mania I like on its own. So those are the ones that I picked up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lip swatches while we talk a little bit about these. The lip maximizers have 6 milliliters of product. They're made in France and they retail for $40 US. According to Dior, these are the iconic Dior lip gloss, genuine hydrating and plumping lip care that delivers a maximum volume effect. Infused with cherry oil and hyaluronic acid, its formula is composed of 90% natural origin ingredients. Your lips should stay hydrated for 24 hours and they're enhanced with mirror-like shine. Lips are visibly smoothed and appear fuller. Now, I have to agree, these are a plumping lip gloss. You can feel that minty sensation when you put them on. It's not as intense as some other brands, but it is pretty intense. So I do notice a plumping effect with these, and I'm not huge on plumping lip glosses, but these are my favorites of those. This one doesn't get to the point where it stings or is uncomfortable, and I like the minty sensation. Overall, I think the new shades are really beautiful, and as I mentioned, I really like the Glow Mania, Blue Mania, and Pink Mania as a topper. The Peach Mania, I actually really like that one. So as we're looking at the shades, the Glow Mania, it's clear, just a little bit of shimmer, great as a topper. You don't really see it otherwise. The Nude, again, this is going to be more of a peachy nude, and it's got more of a medium depth of color there. The Blue Mania, it doesn't look too blue, but it does help to kind of cool off a lip color that might be a little bit too warm. While the pink is going to be a little bit warmer, and we can see a little bit of a pink gold shimmer in there versus a blue pink in the Blue Mania. The Peach Mania, though, is actually more of a soft neutral pink. And so in a way, the Pink Mania is actually warmer in tone because we have that golden shimmer in it than the Peach Mania. The Peach Mania has a beautiful soft translucent neutral peach base, and the shimmer in here is going to be more silver. So it's actually going to be a neutral shade overall, while the Pink Mania actually leans a bit warm. So just something to note if you're looking for the perfect shade. So let's take a look at a few comparisons and then move on to lip glows. So when I saw Glow Mania online, the first thing that came to mind is this shade here, which is I believe it's called Opal. They don't have the names on here. It's number 27. And this is going to be more of an opalescent shade. You can see we have a bit more of, it's more like a pearl, and we have kind of that iridescent hue to it that we don't have with the Glow Mania. So just a little bit of a difference there. This was my closest match. So here's the Nude Mania. And then these are the three I have to compare. And you can see they look pretty similar. So let's take a look at them. This one here is number 14. And let's just do a line of that here. You can see this is going to be a cooler shade. It's a little bit nuttier. And again, this one does not have any shimmer either. This is one of my favorites. I use this one actually quite a bit. Number 13 is going to be the lightest one that I have that is similar here. And you can see this is really more of a soft nude peach, but it's going to be much lighter on the lips. This is one that's great when you just want a little, make everything just a little bit lighter. And then 38 here is my last comparison to the Nude Mania. And you can see that this one here has a bit more red in it. It's not as peach. It's more of a brown with a touch of red. So those are my three comparisons, 14, 13, and 38. So this is our new Blue Mania, and this is the blue that came out a few months ago. So this new one here is number 65, and I believe it was called Icy Blue. So let's go ahead and see how this compares. You can see that this one here is, it's a different shade of blue. It doesn't really have any of that purpley hue to it. This is more of a light, soft sky blue. And this one does not have all of the shimmer that we have in Blue Mania. So they are going to be pretty different. You can see, I think you can see pretty clearly on the swatches the difference. Both of these are going to be very, very light on the lips. Now, as for our Pink Mania and our Peach Mania, the comparisons I have for these, they're going to kind of go together. So let's start off with this one. This is kind of a pearlescent pink. This one's number 66. And let's see how that compares here. You can see it's going to be a soft, cool tone pearly pink. It's much cooler than Pink Mania or Peach Mania. 56 here is also going to be pearlescent, but this one's going to be warmer, and we have a bit of a golden flip to this. But our base, our pink base, is a bit more, it's a little bit more opaque than Pink Mania, and it's a cooler base, but we have that golden flip there. Overall, this shade will still be a bit cooler than Pink Mania. And then this one is going to be number 30, and this was the peachy shade I have. It does not have shimmer, but you can see this is really more of a coral. We have more pink in here. It's a really pretty pinkish coral shade there. And those were my closest comparisons. Let's take a look at the lip glows. The Dior lip glows come in our traditional lip glow packaging, and we have new shades that are labeled as cool or warm tone. And if you go on to Dior's website and you use a computer browser, you'll see everything identified as what's new and what's not. But if you're using your phone, it does not tell you that on the mobile version. So just something to note there. First up, we have 38 Soft Nude. These are still pH activated, and you can see, I'll do one layer and then multiples. You can see that this Soft Nude is a really pretty kind of neutral nude shade. On my lips though, this does turn a little bit more pink than I would prefer personally. I like the color before it really shifts to that pinker hue. So this, it's nice, but just note that it will change. 77 Candy. This is a nice soft pink, and you can actually see in the bullet that there's a little bit of a golden sheen to it, a golden shimmer. And it reminds me actually a lot of the lip gloss here that I swatched. 74 Jelly. This is going to be a deeper, cooler tone pink. And I really like this. I like this shade. It's going to be a little bit more vibrant than number 77, but they do look pretty close still on the lips. And what I have on now, I have on this one, 73 Blackberry. And this one is on my lips. It's topped with the Pink Mania. You can see this is going to be a cool tone, soft, kind of like a cocoa brown with some purple in there with a little bit of crushed blackberry. It's almost like those black lip balms with the pH adjusters. It's more like that, but it does stay a little bit cooler. It doesn't turn that bright berry. You can see what it looks like on my lips right now. So it's more of a softer berry shade. Let's take a look at the lip swatches. The Dior Addict lip glows have 3.2 grams of product. They're made in France and they retail for $40 US. And they're described as a 48-hour hydrating lip balm with pH activated color. They're infused with cherry extract and shea butter for 48-hour hydration. And this is described by Dior as where lip care meets makeup, offering the perfect blend of nourishment and color. Featuring a unique technology, the formula reacts to the natural pH level of your lips to reveal custom color and an instant natural looking glow. Now I have to say, once upon a time, Dior lip glows were one of my favorite products. I wore them all the time. And this was kind of back when they started, when they first came on the scene. I love them. But all the shades really kind of looked the same color. You know, for a while there was just the one shade. And you know, they kind of all turned to bright pink. I stopped using them for many years. I do have a few others to compare that we'll look at in a minute, but I do think that a few of these shades still kind of end up looking like the same color after the pH adjustment finishes. So 74 and 77, Candy and Jelly, those two, you know, after the pH adjustment finishes on my lips, they look pretty much the same. Even the soft nude looks pretty similar, just a little bit lighter than those. The one that makes the biggest difference for me is the 73 Blackberry. These are a firmly textured lip balm with a pretty nice balance of wax and oil, but a little bit more wax than oil. It's not a 50-50 mix. They do go on very smoothly, they're comfortable, and they remain on the lips for a few hours. Even after the texture wears off though, I am still left with that pH adjusted stain on my lips. So they will stain a little bit, but just keep in mind that with some shades, they're gonna kind of all look the same. So if you're looking to get a few different shades, I would get some that look drastically different from each other so that on the lips, you have a little bit more nuance after the pH adjustment. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few comparisons. So my first time trying the lip glows again in a while were the ones that came out last spring. So this one here was 63 Pink Lilac. So let's go ahead and we'll put that one here. This is a very light, soft pink shade, and it's going to be a cool tone pink. And honestly, it's very light. It doesn't quite compare to these. It's going to be much cooler and lighter than those. Then we have 61, which is Poppy Coral. And this was one of my favorites here. Let's put that one right there. This one is a little bit more orange than the nude shade there. And I really like this one though on the lips. And this is one that gives me a little bit of a different color. It doesn't turn quite as pink. The one I really wanted to look at here was Bronze Glow number 62. And let's see how this compares. This is going to be a deeper, it's more of a soft reddish brown. It's actually a favorite of mine. I really like this one. But you can see how different those shades are compared to the new ones that I picked up. As the colors have been sitting and settling, you can see the similarities in some of the shades. And since they are going to be softer, more translucent shades overall, it allows for them to look a little bit more similar on the lips than they would if they were a more opaque product. Overall, I think the new Dior lip products for spring are nice additions, but if you do have a sizable collection already, they're not necessarily things that you need to add on. However, if you're looking at introducing a few special pieces, I do really like some of these, and I think we do have some special shades. I personally really love the Blackberry here, and I love all of the maximizers, but my favorites would probably be the Peach Mania and the Blue Mania, and the Blackberry here for sure, and the Lip Glow. But I do really like all three of these other shades that I picked up as well. So we've got some good choices there. Just a quick summary of everything we looked at today. We started with these eyeshadow duos, and I have to say the Star Nude I think is the winner between the two of these. It's a really nice, beautiful nude, sparkly nude, a duo that's great for holidays or every day. The formula is nice on that. So if you're looking at the two of those, that's the one that I would recommend. Moving on to the What's Up Beauty, I do really like both of the brushes. If you're interested in brushes, these styles, I think they're very well made and they're nice and soft. As for the blushes and bronzers, they're a great formula and I think they're really easy to use and blend out. There's a shade there for everybody. My personal favorite bronzer is the 40 Deep because it is our coolest tone shade. And you can put that on very softly or you can really build it up to something deeper. As for the blushes, I really like all of the shades, but probably the 30, the Roma shade, that one's probably my favorite. And as for the Dior products, as we mentioned, I do really like all of the new lip products. But if I had to narrow it down, you know, it'd probably be Blue Mania, Peach Mania for the lip glosses, and Blackberry for the lip glow. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you very soon, and happy holidays.